I got into those finger gloves before they became popular.
Finger gloves?
Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Pete, and welcome to How I Hobby.
We're two pals and hobby obsessives with over 100 hobbies between us.
And we're always on the lookout for more.
Join us as we talk about all of our hobbies.
And talk to people we know about their really cool hobbies.
Welcome to How I Hobby. In today's episode, we've got a great interview with Chloé Dall'Olio, who has a very exuberant hobby. But first, Kayla, how do you hobby?
I swim.
Way! Like a mermaid.
Like a mermaid. I actually just came from swimming, Pete. My hair is currently drying.
Lovely stuff. It's looking good. Nicely windswept and tousled, yeah.
Thank you so much. It's the chlorine. Yeah.
It's really good for you. So tell us about swimming. How long have you been doing this?
I would say as a swimming hobbyist, I've been swimming for almost 12 months.
Cool. So what made you start swimming? Because you do a lot of other exercise and that sort of thing. So why swimming in particular?
So it's a bit of a long story, and it's not that interesting, but I'll tell you the super top line of it.
Please tell it.
I was on a work trip, and we were in the south of France, humble brag. And these guys from Australia who are on our work trip, all of a sudden we went in the ocean. They had brought goggles with them, and I thought, that is next level. It's also one of the easiest things to bring in your suitcase. So then I went and bought myself a pair of goggles, and then I was on holiday, and I started swimming in the mornings because there was a pool. Where I live, there's a Lido that has quite a vibe to it. It's quite a scene. Yeah, it's quite a scene. A Lido for our North American audience is not a synonym for swimming pool. It is an outdoor pool. And this one in particular at London Fields is heated. So it has quite a following all year round versus some of the other ones are not heated. And those are all brave souls. And that is also
you do not want an unheated Lido in the UK.
No. And that's quite a separate vibe. So I've been going about once or twice a week, almost all year. And it's one of those hobbies, Pete, where it's kind of similar to like rock climbing and stuff. Every time I go, I can tell how much better I've got. So sometimes I swim in the slow lane, I do breaststroke in the slow lane, but I do front crawl in the medium lane. And then I time myself and I try and go like 3 or 4 minutes extra every time. So like I was up to kind of swimming for like 43 minutes. And then, and what's also cool is now I've been trying to also train my breath and hold my breath for as long as possible. So I'll also sort of test, this is not interesting. I've been really enjoying it, and like my arms are really strong and I have all these like cool muscles that are forming in my shoulders.
Oh, fantastic. So you say you do a few strokes.
Yeah.
Which is your favourite?
That is a really good question. I don't
care.
No, I don't have one. Do you know why? I like them all for different reasons. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you.
I do want to know why, yeah.
Yeah. Front crawl, most exertion of energy. Breaststroke, because I like the feeling of like, I don't know, it's just like a cool sensation. And then back crawl, least favorite. Also, I probably look like I'm drowning.
Interesting.
And then there's a stroke that we learned in North America, but loads of people here, whenever I talk about it, have no idea what I'm talking about, called elementary backstroke. And it's sort of like breaststroke on your back. But no one here seems to know about it. And like no one in Europe seems to know about it.
The one that you did mention is butterfly.
Yeah, I can't do that. Are you kidding? What I like about swimming, Pete, is like totally your mind switches off when you're swimming. And I always feel absolutely knackered afterwards and also very zen.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Kayla, for your awesome swim talk. And now, on to our interview.
Woo! Chloé Dall'Olio is an Italian interdisciplinary artist, host, and content creator based in London. Chloé works with beauty brand Trini London. You may recognize her from the infamous Friday Twinning. She's also a key member of the Digital Auto Sound Museum as an interviewer and curator. Chloé, tell us, how do you hobby?
I do ecstatic dance.
Cool! Hey! Okay, Chloé, for those who are not familiar, tell us, what does it mean to do ecstatic dance?
Of course. So they are sessions of movement meditation or like conscious dance. Basically, you go on a journey that is like alcohol-free, substances-free. It's like you yourself, usually in the mornings, bare feet, you don't speak, you just like follow the rhythm, follow the facilitator, who usually is a sort of like a current or like modern shaman in a way that basically leads this music session that is usually around 2 hours, 3 hours.
Wow.
And takes you to places with the way the music is chosen, with the different rhythms, different qualities of rhythm, and starts and finishes with a relaxation. And then it goes up until you get to a state of total liberation and sort of ecstasy, and then takes you down again, then up again, and then relaxation. So it's a whole journey. And it's incredible.
That's so cool. And this is like something that you do with other people, right? It's like a collective sort of experience.
Yeah, it's a collective experience. It's very much community based. There is usually a lot of people in the same room.
Yeah.
But in a way, you sort of like connect with yourself first, and then when you're ready, connect with the other people. You can't talk, but you can invite and kind of like move with other people. Usually, sometimes some kind of songs makes you kind of create this sort of like tribal circle where everyone is around and does kind of like influences each other or the movement. And sometimes we are so like feeling free and liberated that we all scream or jump. Or
wow.
The best thing that happened to me is like once I was so in this kind of state of trance or like ecstasy that I got so connected with my soul that I started singing. And I'm like, whoa, that's like a level.
That is so cool.
This sounds fascinating stuff. Just to be clear on one thing, you do this in the morning?
Or you do it at the end of the day?
So some sessions are in the evening, some sessions in the morning. I usually do them on a Sunday morning.
Cool.
No matter what I do on a Saturday, but on a Sunday morning, I'm there. It's a sort of like a rave, but like it's a daytime, sober, really conscious rave where you can't escape from your emotions.
Wow.
Kind of, people can also stop and kind of like lie down and do whatever. Or like there is a little altar on a corner. So if you want a break, you kind of go there and re-center. Wow. Otherwise, you can just jump and shake.
Cool.
And it's not about performativity. It's not about showing how you dance. There is no steps, nothing you have to follow.
Yeah.
It's just you connect and kind of like get the music to guide your nervous system and body and everything to just move the way it needs to move.
Oh my God. Chloe, so how'd you get into this? And how long have you been doing it for?
I think 2 or 3 years on and off. Maybe, 2 or 3 years. How I got into this, really interesting. I was chatting to my therapist, my previous therapist. I was telling her all the things I'm kind of like into, how much I've been working on my body like in these years. And then she was like, okay, I think you might find 5 rhythms really interesting. So 5 rhythm is sort of also an ecstatic dance. It's like 5 quality of rhythm that you kind of like follow still in this journey. I tried different 5 rhythms and ecstatic dance in a place and then another. And then eventually I was like, okay, this is too good.
Wow.
Like, I'm going to make it a regular hobby. And then eventually I think it's bleeding into my work as well, because I want that to eventually become something more than a hobby. So I really, really love it. You can't say.
Cool.
Very interesting. So how has it affected, your day-to-day doing this on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because like in general, a lot of people have most of their focus and work a lot with the brain. Like a lot of people don't realize how much, like we say that the body keeps the score. Like a lot of trauma, a lot of things, a lot of stress, it's stored in the rest of our bodies as well. And being able to kind of like switch off the head for 3 hours and switch on the rest is something that really has an impact on your nervous system. So it's a way of like recalibrating all the stress that I've been accumulated throughout the week. That maybe it's like, it's in the body, but we also think it's in the head. So I've been like, I usually think and overthink and worry and write, but like, it's a totally different thing when you actually express it via your body without the fear of being judged and without the kind of like everything that is involved in being looked at. It's totally like liberating. So to me, after I have that, it's a sort of like a serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin boost that lasts a few days. Yeah. So it's a medicine somehow.
Yeah, that is so cool. Chloe, so sometimes like certain hobbies, there's, the best place in the world to do that hobby. Is there the best place in the world from a ecstatic dance or 5 rhythm?
I think it would be, I don't know if it would be London. I think it would be somewhere far away to be fair, you can also do it in your bedroom. I think there is a specific location that is great to do. It's just where you have space to actually move around, but also feel safe to connect. It's all about feeling safe in a circle, in a community. So if you feel safe in your room, even if you're on your own and you put on maybe like a whole like DJ set with the tracks, for example, you can also get the effects. So I think the perfect place is where you feel seen, heard, and held.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
The fact that you can do it by yourself or with other people, I think, is a pretty interesting point of view on this hobby, right? Because a lot of hobbies is they're either you do them as a collective or you do them as an individual. This is quite cool because it sort of depends on where you are, how you're feeling.
Yeah, because presumably there's some days where you really feel like you want to do it in a group, you want to do it in a collective, and then others where you just think, I'm not in a place where I feel like I can do that, but I can still connect with myself and do it, in my room on my own. Yeah, so you can still do the practice, but without necessarily having to go to a specific place. Yeah.
Chloé, as we already said, it read through the intro, right? You are one busy friggin' human being. And so how do you fit this hobby in with like the rest of your life?
Yeah, good question. Well, surely it's the only one that happens on a Sunday morning.
The other 6 days are filled up. That's how you fit it in.
I fit it right there. How I fit
That's it. It's literally the only spot it can sneak in there. Just wind its way into that little crevice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's the answer.
That's it. Brilliant.
Mic drop. She's done. Oh, God.
So you mentioned the music, and putting on a DJ set that goes through the thing. So how would you describe the sort of music that's played at these things? Does it differ from week to week or what?
Good question, Pete.
Thank you.
Yes, it does vary depending on the facilitator or the master of ceremony or the person that leads you through. Depends on how you call it. You have different DJs every week, different facilitators every week, and they bring their own selection. But I think it's a very varied selection. It goes from like drums and like meditative drumming, rainy, like more ambient things, to electronic music. It gets also to techno when you get to the ecstatic beat, because like you really need to. But honestly, every DJ can bring their own selection, and I think it's also having something upcoming and new with like more experimental is also welcome. Yeah. So yeah, it's very varied.
Very interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done gong baths before, where everybody lies down and meditates. There's no dancing involved, and I listen to trance music, side trance music, because and I do get a nice, meditative feel from that, and it's very lovely. So, but I have trouble connecting with my body, but I do connect with the music, on a sort of internal level. So I wonder if this might be an interesting thing for me to try. Maybe this is how I can connect with my body.
Yeah. So Chloé, talk to us about some of the other hobbies you have on the go. I mean, I listed some of them, and I asked the question of like, how do you balance them all? And the short answer was nothing else happens on a Sunday morning. But like, what else is currently part of your hobby rhythm? Like, what's in rotation right now?
So other things that are going on, I enjoy pole dancing.
Cool.
I enjoy, I started a sewing course as well a few months ago.
Yeah.
And then what else? Drawing, life drawing, classic.
Yeah.
Are they yours? Your drawings behind you?
No, but funnily enough, I also do modeling. So that's people that life draw me on a session.
Oh, cool.
For our audience who's listening and not watching, there are some very beautiful drawings.
Beautiful, tasteful nudes.
Yes, behind Chloé in her room.
I'd love to do that.
be a model or a drawer?
I'd love to do a life modeling session.
Cool.
Again, I think it's all about, just body positivity. And in fact, that pole dancing as well. There's a lot of just accepting your physical form.
Yeah.
I think there's an interesting through line.
Exactly. Shredding the shame you've been accumulated throughout your whole life in a way or the other, accepting yourself as a owner of a body that doesn't need to be judged, or it's all about body positivity and radical self-love. That's why I do all of that. It's my own journey that then I share sometimes with the world. That's what exactly, you got the point, Pete. Yeah, that's it.
That's so lovely. Wonderful.
If time or money, Chloe, were no object, what is a hobby that you would love to put into your rotation?
What I do? I don't know. I don't have one big dream. Maybe trying all the possible dances in the world. You know that there is so many dance practices. Try them. I'm so fascinated by the dervishes, going around.
And that's a similar thing, isn't it? Or getting yourself into that kind of a frenzy.
It's still an ecstatic practice. I think if money was no object, I would do similar hobbies, but I would do them around the world with people that actually have inherited the practice from their ancestors. Yeah. So more than doing one thing that is expensive, like skiing, I would do things that are not expensive, like moving your body, but I would do it around the world. So that would be where the money are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. That's a really interesting approach. Love it.
That's cool. I love that.
So what do your friends and family think about your hobby?
That's a great question, Pete.
Thank you. It was a great question, wasn't it? They're just getting better. Knocking this out of the park. The three of us are absolutely slaying it.
Okay. What do they think? A few friends have been influenced and tried ecstatic dance and joined me in a few sessions and are really excited about it. And so they are happy for me to do it because they discover something for themselves as well. And then my family are pretty chill. Like I've been experimenting and hobbying for my whole life, been doing things since when I was a kid. So they're not surprised at all. They just, I don't know, just think that is part of who I am anyway. Yeah. So they're not, I've done things that are more questionable than doing ecstatic dance. So I think it's perfectly fine for everyone around me.
We need to know what questionable hobbies have you had?
No, it's not hobbies, but I, as part of my work as a model and performer, I've done naked things, and I think that is more taboo, more than dancing without shoes, but nothing questionable. It's always nothing questionable.
Nothing illegal.
Nothing illegal. Nothing illegal.
What's the profile of someone who does ecstatic dance? Because if we think when you and I started doing improv together, you came from a creative background. I was working in a professional setting. There were loads of other actors. There were loads of computer engineers, a pretty big melting pot of people from improv comedy. What's kind of the profile of people who are into ecstatic dance?
All sorts. Yeah. Anything. It's just as Pete said, another way of meditating. So anyone that meditates, what's the profile behind someone that meditates? There isn't a profile. Yeah. Anyone that is open to get closer to themselves and to get to know themselves, which is scary. Not everyone is ready to do that, to do the work. Yeah. So anyone that is willing to give themselves and getting to know themselves a go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's the community around it like? Have you made loads of friends through this? Do people kind of just show up to do their own thing? It's their own journey and then they leave? What is there a community building element to this?
Yes, there is. Depends on who are the people that run these sessions. Yeah. There are different in London. I mean, I've experienced two in particular with ecstatic dance, and I think both of what you said. There are people that just turn up, do their thing, and go, which is sometimes my approach as well. Mm-hmm. And some people that come early, chat through, and then have cacao together. And then afterwards, there is always food prepared for everyone that is accessible, affordable, usually is plant-based. And there is a big gathering of people. You have food together, chat. Anyway, so the community aspect of it is eating together and talk to people, because during the practice, you don't talk. So afterwards, you can actually talk and connect and and chat about your life and the practice and what brought up for you. And there is, and people stay longer, as long as they want, and they're friends, and there are regulars like in the community at the moment. There are people that started this practice or started DJing or created the practice like ages ago. There are newbies, and then everyone in between. So you can turn up and make friends, or you can turn up, like do your thing and then go. So
cool. So what has your hobby taught you about yourself and life?
I think it reinforced my awareness, of my body, and it reinforced the understanding of how keeping my body in movement and letting it go, I can actually get to a point of extreme, grounding and release. And because also when I dance, I also have not visions, but I have sort of visions of things, or like answers to things I've been asking myself for a while and I didn't have an answer. Or like maybe if I stop and pick up a card in the little sanctuary area, it gives me like an inspiration or like an answer for something or an intention. And then I told you earlier about the episode of singing. I think that's really a big confirmation for me that these kind of disciplines are really what my body, soul, and nervous system needs to keep healing and keep growing and keep understanding itself. And my whole kind of belief is that the body talks. So it taught me also to listen more and more to my body, because my body knows. So it just reinforced the connection that I have with my body, and how important it is to listen to it and to just freely express myself without judgment.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so Chloé, you've got 30 seconds to convince our listeners to give Ecstatic Dance a try.
Yeah.
Okay? Go.
Okay, imagine a rave, but you're too tired in the evening to stay awake. You don't want to drink. You're done with everything. You just want to connect with yourself and dance, dance, dance. You can do it in the daytime. You can do it with a bunch of people that also want to experience ultra life experience and connect with themselves and their bodies, but also connect with other people. Try.
Sold.
Fantastic.
Sold.
Lovely.
That was amazing.
The amount of energy that is coming through the screen right now is just quite incredible.
That was like Dragon's Den meets infomercial. That was so, but with like a real like sprinkle of like loveliness.
A sprinkle.
No, more than a sprinkle. A absolute waterfall of loveliness. It was so good. That was so good. It was a compliment. What I was saying was a compliment.
Yes.
I think, Pete, this was the first hobby this was the first guest where we've heard about a hobby that like has kind of human healing properties to it.
I think so many of the hobbies we've talked about have been about mental health and taking time out from things and you know, giving yourself a chance to breathe and to heal. But this is the first one that's specifically for that.
Yeah, I love that. And I
rather
also
than as a byproduct.
Yeah, I also really love, Chloe, how like this is a hobby you can do by yourself. You can wake up on a Sunday morning at home and do it yourself. You can also go to Hackney Wick and do it with other people. I also love how like this hobby, the way you're thinking about how you grow with this hobby and what it means to you. And that could mean going somewhere around the world with people who have been practicing this hobby either for a longer period of time in a slightly different way. And like, how can you build community, not just in your own kind of neighborhood, but around the world. That was so flippin' cool, Chloe. Thank you so much.
It was awesome. So, Chloe, where can people find you online?
Okay, I think the best way at the moment is find me on my Instagram, and then from there you can find other things. But my handle is at Chloé Dall'Olio, and I'm sure you're going to put it somewhere.
We are. It'll be in the show notes as well, yeah?
Yeah.
It's Chloé Dall'Olio at CHLOE DALLOLIO. But I'm sure you're going to put it somewhere.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. We've had an absolute blast. This was so fun.
Been fantastic.
Toodles!
Toodles! That was our interview with Chloé Dall'Olio. We had a blast. Hope you did too.
But before we go, we want to share this week's celebrity hobby. Drum roll!
Did you know Pierce Brosnan was a fire eater?
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh my God, wow, that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
I've been Pete.
And I've been Kayla.
Rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. It makes us much easier to find.
And follow us on Instagram at howihobby.
Did you know we also have a newsletter?
I did.
Hey.
Subscribe for new episodes and behind-the-scenes chat.
See you next time.
Toodles!
How I Hobby was written and produced by Kayla Lean and Pete Falconer, with music and editing by Pete Falconer, artwork by Laura Walsh, and animation by Kayla Lean. If you'd like to be featured on the show, email us at howihobby@gmail.com, follow us on Instagram at howihobby, or sign up to our mailing list at howihobby.com.